for some boom, baby, boom, rise and shine. Even on a rainy day, we're gonna get this morning motivation in, shall we? Shall we? Even I keep trying, man. Down here at the print shop, do 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 do. Down here at the print shop, do 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 do. It's about talking to yourself. We're gonna have this conversation this morning. For those of you that have been talking to yourself nasty, you can talk to yourself naughty, but you definitely want to be talking to yourself right. And it's a rainy day today, so I'm on the inside, but I got to get my joint on because you already know Saints Addiction, baby. Let's open this laptop, shall we? Get this green screen behind me. Boom, baby, boom. That's Rio de Janeiro. I've been there, which is a blessing. Traveled by Saints. To smoke a blunt with Christ the Redeemer. Stop it, bro. Stop it. LVOG in the house. Let's go. Las Vegas Original Worldwide. So, how do we do this? We sign in and we edit all these videos of me in Spain. Spent months on this shit just to get the shorts right. Video in a sec. We got to do the hustle, but it's also the mental muscle. That's right. I've been watching some TikToks, or I don't even have TikTok. Why did I even say that? Instagrams or lives or whatever, where people give advice when they're talking to themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like they're saying, you need to do is not listen to him and block him. And it's like they are talking to themselves. There's a certain psychological term called projection. That's right. And we project our thoughts, wants, and feelings on others and expect them to understand. And the tough part is it's us reaching for understanding, kind of like the unexamined life. We go back to Aristotle. An unexamined life is not lived. And I was talking about how people tend to have blind spots. It's kind of been the theme of this week for morning motivation, but it's true that we have blind spots that we don't see or don't wish not to see, actually should be more appropriately said. But when we're talking to ourselves, the amount of language and the type of language and the vibrations of this talking, you're the only one listening. And even if you're talking to yourself, like I'm talking to a screen, right, with a screen behind me, I'm not just talking to my subconscious here. I'm talking to an esoterical type verbiage that we all do. Not one of us is getting by and said, wake up this morning and go, damn, my breath stink. Didn't say it out loud, but you said it in your head, and we all know the dread. And or we'll do secret whispers. Like it was the whisper to the soul that really ignited this morning motivation. It was something that Neville Goddard was saying. It's like, how are you whispering to your soul? And it's the truth of it. A lot of us, we say things that we don't mean to strangers or to loved ones or to in a fight. You know what I mean? We really expose ourselves. But when I'm watching these other people, they're like, just feel it. Just feel the way that you want to feel. Just let it in and out. And she's literally talking to a mirror. Now, I don't remember the exact term Neville Goddard was saying, but he was saying something to the effect of, you can't change the mirror, but you can change the character. And I was like hit home with it. I was like, damn, son's dropping bars, yo. Like he's like really spitting, getting what I'm spitting. And it's the truth of it. You can't change the mirror, but you can change your reflection. And the way we reflect or refract or crystals or chakras or whatever else people, fractals, people want to talk about, the secret whispers, which also will probably be a morning motivation, the secret whispers that we say to ourselves, oh, I'm so fat, or the, damn, I'm broke, or wish I had money. I'm sure everyone said to themselves at least once in their lives, you wouldn't be human if you didn't. And part of being human is having a relationship with your God or your soul or your inner dialogue, if you will, the way that rhythm And we all, rhythm is a dancer, it's a soul companion. You can feel it in the air. There's my chick, dogs on shirts. She's got like 3 dogs around her. Can you hear them outside? They're like attacking each other. I just waved. Yeah, calm down. Oh, it's the bigger dog. Yeah, there's 2 dogs. It's like this one and that one. She's always out here with these big old puppy dogs. You know what I'm saying? So some people's kids, but it's one of those where we all gotta. Hell, even some people rather talk to dogs than talk to humans. They're way more loyal to their dogs than they are to humans. So it's this kind of careless whispers on a dog friend. Is it no surprise? Is it in your eyes? Calm down, Mark. You need to get on this morning motivation and explain to these people that it's a third party, almost like you show up with your personality or the person that you are, and you go into the world and you dress a certain way. You start signaling to people that you are this way. I'm a goth. I'm dark. I'm a jock. I work out. All these are secret whispers. Secretly whispering back to say, I'm this way, I'm that way. I want to portray that I am a certain way. Virtual signaling, where we all do it. Like giving change to a homeless person that's panhandling to feel better about ourselves, or maybe that we like to say that we're kind, but then we'll go home and yell at our kids like, why the fuck this place not clean? I know you know what I mean. And it's not that anyone gets away with it. So, perfectly imperfect, mostly saints. We all got halos and horns. So let's just put that out there right off the bat. This is the relationship you have with your God, your body, and your mind, right? Like, it's not like you get to escape it. All right. We all like try desperately to escape our frame, our brain, the way that our life is, our boredom, whatever it is, our pain. That's definitely why addictions persist and why we persist as human beings, is because we're all on this magic carpet ride in our minds, and where we take it is really up to us. I keep talking about the power of imagination and mustard seeds moving mountains, and literally mental growth that if you identify, right, like Aristotle, Socrates, philosophies of what's your brand that you tell yourself, right? Like, I'm this LVOG, this is my brand, but the style, if you will, of verbiage. Yep, you can get jackets too. This one's actually really cool. I've been just rocking this last one, but the style of that, what you tell yourself, is the importance of this morning motivation. It's a secret. Nobody else is going to track it. Matter of fact, you can keep it in your head the whole time because that's where it stays. But what doesn't stay is how you actually are. All right. So if you're the type of person that can't wait to tell somebody to fuck off, right? You're probably telling yourself, fuck you. Like literally, you're literally telling yourself to fuck all the way off. Disown yourself, disassociate, whatever else you want to call it. We do that. We think we get away with it, but we don't. No, of course not. We don't get away with any of that shit, bro. What ends up happening in the real reality of real life is we reflect what we intake. It's one of these things. It's hard to hide. If somebody is not right inside, you can find it. Especially women, they're really good at it. It's almost, it actually is an evolutionary development, because it goes to show if their child is sick, something's wrong with them, something's not going right. This shit happens, you know what I mean? Let's go. Let's print some shit. Let's go. Who's ready for some boom, baby, boom? I'm just gonna go for the smoke. But that type of style, maybe you inherited it from your family, maybe you wake up and people are just being bitchy. You know what it is. Oh, I love that fresh rain smell. You know what I'm saying? And bitchy, grumpy, not all with it. You know what I'm saying? The people act that way, and it's not just them. It's my guy. What's up, brother? I see you. That's my guy. He always just stares at me and just holds his hands and pretends he doesn't see me. That's his grumpy way, But each one of us gets to choose our mood. Whether we blame it on our parents or blame it on our environment or blame it on our circumstance, our vibration is coming out of us through our pores, bro. Like, you don't even need a fucking encyclopedia to read somebody's body language. It's about 85% of language. We've been reading each other, the mammal perspective, the is this person dangerous? Is this person happy? You know, we're gauging everything. We're constantly intertwining between people, and like I'm watching some people holding hands, that means they're together. And then I'm watching this girl on her phone, that means she's distracted. And then I'm watching these people biking, that means they're healthy. We signal to each other constantly. That's another reason why we wear brands, pick the clothes that we want to wear, and act the way that we want to act, is because we're like that. We go and catch each other's eyes, or maybe we ignore each other, whatever you want to play it, you know what I mean? And that's the way humans communicate. Be an insect, be a bug, you can't be. If you're watching this, you're a human like me. And that means that we're signaling constantly. We're just signaling to the world that I'm this way, or I act this way, or I feel this way, because we want to portray something outside of ourselves, almost like keep up with the lie. And at Saints Addiction, I'm an honest sinner. You know, I was just like, man, I can't keep up with these lies. I can't go to church and pretend that I'm Jesus Christ, or I'm always praying, or everything's always good in my hood. What's up, brother? And that's what we do. You know, we ignore each other. We keep our heads down. We grind. You know, we have secret solitude. You know, the amount of loneliness is an epidemic. The amount that we ignore is systemic. And the amount of people that are bored and lonely, it's tragic, and it's not fun. I'm working on a dating app, and an app where everyone can meet up and have conversations and join chess clubs and join Weed Club. Definitely join Weed Club, and get outside of their isolation. When we're in isolation, which isn't necessarily so bad, you know, you can meditate, but isolation in itself is supposed to be worse than cigarettes. It literally is like supposed to be like 7 times as cancerous as being alone. They say that being alone is worse than you being smoking cigarettes and being social. It's the way human beings are shaped. There's nothing we can do about it. We have safety in this, and I've been watching a lot of nature shows. One of the monkeys had a baby. Beautiful little baby monkey, looks so human. And she also needed the safety of the tribe, you know? What is the monkeys? What are they, in a herd? They're not in a herd. They're in a group. I don't know. Anyway, my point being to this is that we have all developed this way. What we haven't really developed is the way that we talk to ourselves. This is like a secret club that nobody else is going to be a part of. The way you live in your mind is like either a war zone, battlefield, or a launch pad. Whether you set it up that way is literally determined by you. And this is why we have these conversations. You know what I'm saying? We all have an ability to make things happen. And then we also have an ability to delete the things we don't want to happen. It's just part of the routine and the things that we all do. It's something that we all process and internalize, you know, how we store the data. And this is how you're going to play it. You know, we play it how we want to. We can play it like an uptake. We can play it on the down low. We can play on the ignore. We can put on our headphones. We can go for smokes, and we can isolate. But the inner battle between the ears, you know, the whole vibration of our brains can drive us insane. It can literally make it so it's not safe for us to be in our brains, you know? And that's when I started to really go deeper. Maybe it's meditation, maybe it's breathing exercises, maybe it's nature. You know, I love coming out in nature and the trees and the fresh air, but I didn't want it to be a war zone up here. I didn't want it to disturb me. I wanted to be safe in my own brain. Make my mind a safe place where, Even if I do say something, I do the mental exercises to output it, to say something more positive, to reinforce it and reframe it. It's been super healthy for me. But not everybody is healthy enough to do that. Maybe they let it sink in and it doesn't reflect off of them. Maybe it's an ego thing. Maybe it's a safety mechanism, like a coping mechanism, if you will. And we all have them, whether it be food, sex, drugs, alcohol, you name it, the gambling, we all do it. And that's why it's out there. That's why these guys are making a huge amount of profits. It's the way we all do it. You know what I'm saying? And that becomes your battleground. That becomes your mind. And then you got to ask yourself, why do I live like this? Why am I like this? Why am I not making my own brain and mind a safe place to be? And that's something you're going to have to ask yourself. You know what I mean? You're going to have to ask yourself, can I make it a safe zone for my brain, for my life, for my stability? When I was watching this other thing, it's the balance of things. You know what I'm saying? It's the balance that we keep in our brains to say, hey, I want to be in a safe place. Okay, well, if it's safe, then when we have these negative thoughts, automatic negative thoughts, the ants, the ANTs, we have to be able to quickly kill them and be on top of them. What's up, brother? And that's going to be the strength of your spirit. The ability to say, hey, man, sure, that might be true, but also there's some positivity out there. And to make our brains not just end on oh, now it's just negative, so I go gambling, or she didn't love me, so I go drinking, or things didn't go right, so I start sabotaging. These things are pitfalls not in our character, but in our lives. You know what I'm saying? It makes us be weird about our shit. It makes us act out of sorts. And this is why I'm having this conversation today, is it was just like, wow, I watch people talk to themselves and they're reflecting their honest opinion. Yeah, it's on the lives. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have ways to not be so friendly in their own minds, right? Not even say hi and have that look on their face like distress. Like, why is there so much stress out there? Is because we leave it in a stressful situation. We go and say crazy things and wonder why our lives aren't so fascinating. Did we encourage ourselves to do something different? I'm so grateful to have traveled the world and seen other things that I can rely on myself and go, okay, maybe I didn't have the thought that I had the balls to do it, but I proved to myself that I had the balls to do it, and it gave me more confidence to keep doing it. It's a blessing, and in that, I don't say stressing in my head. I keep it level-headed. That's the balance. That's the chakras, if you will, that we are all in alignment. That, yeah, all of us have halos and horns, the mostly saints, that we have tragedies and pitfalls. We have exalted, amazing things about us and super dark, negative, naughty things that we don't want to talk about. Welcome to the human experience. But to live, to be able to pursue the pursuit of happiness, to be able to transform ideas into reality, that is something special. That is something that's really fucking cool for all of us to do, to be able to say, hey, man, I don't just live in this brain. I shape it. And I don't just want to be existing where everything's a struggle. I'm in the rain. I got my frowny face on. Shit sucks. I don't like it. Pumping it full of all that will definitely increase your depression, your anxiety, your output. And I wanted people to maximize their positivity. I wanted people to be able to not just be toxically positive, but to actually look for the blessings, in everything. Listening to Nicky Lauda, I'll say it again. He said, it was the failures that made me strong. I thank my failures because it made me stronger. And everybody wants strength. Everybody wants power. Everybody wants confidence. But do they want to earn it? That's the thing. Everybody wants the prize, but everybody wants to play the prize. Everybody wants to be Superman, but nobody wants to be Clark Kent. but it's all of it. The shiny parts, the dark parts, the dark, the light. It's the balance that makes it all right, you know. And for us to be able to say, hey, you know, I wanted to bend it like Beckham. I wanted to go further and make it a safe place. You know, a lot of people talk about safe places, you know, like in their lives, in their minds, to be safe. And I find people not happy in their existence. So they get on TikToks. Yep. They get in this weird shit, right? That other people, like other people don't exist, or maybe they don't really exist in their own world. Well, they put it out in the world, like I'm doing on the live, and say, hey, you know, this is the way it should be, or this is what I'm channeling, or this is what I'm feeling. And they're processing, you know, internal dialogue, or distractions, or dialogue, you know, this conversation, the secret conversations that take place only between our ears in the gray, you know, that we're the only ones hearing it. So if it was up to me, you know, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. You know, if it's meant to be, then I would tell myself all sorts of positive things, and not make it a zone where it's like I can fixate on everything that's not working, or all the negative things that we be telling ourselves. Instead, we can uptake with nature and exercise and positive thinking to keep that zone not so negative anymore, not so exposed, but to show ourselves like, hey, man, this is where my brain goes. And this is where I tend to go in my brain, these places where it's not so safe, and it's not so exciting, and it's not so, and it's still boring, and it's not so adventurous, right, if you will, to be, I want to be the type of person that can not just say it out to in a TikTok or an Instagram or a live, but to internalize the dialogue and say, okay, I'm sitting still long enough to manifest and what's the word I'm looking for? Meditate and concentrate on this internal dialogue and say, hey, you know, I want it to be this way. I don't want it to be the way that it is going, or the way that I am exposing, or pretending, you know, like on an online thing, you know, but to actually watch it, because you can put it out there and talk about someone else, or talk about yourself in a third person, or project it upon other people. But it's really, do I accept it? You know, inside, do I accept these messages? Do I internalize it? Do I wear it in my clothing? Do I wear it in my branding? And do I wear it on my body? And it wears on everybody's faces. You can see if they're lit up, or no one's home, or if it's somebody's excited, or somebody's sad. You can look at somebody, especially like I said with women, they can walk into a room and see if somebody's being pensive, or if they're being aggressive, or if they're even feeling right. You'd be like, all of that information is getting downloaded, but are we keeping track of where we're going with our dialogue? Do we just say it to some screen instead of saying what we mean and having a real conversation with ourselves? This is where these things takes place. So when I watch these things and I'm seeing people kind of really expose themselves, you know, it's projection, where we're pretending like we're educating, or dialoguing, or just having full-on conversations with the ether. You know, it's really what we're saying between our ears that's being exposed. We're saying these things out loud to ourselves, and only ourselves are listening. So it's like, what is the message here? You know, what is the message that I'm giving myself? What is the message I'm trying to portray to someone else? And also, what's the messaging that I'm internalizing? You know, it's a thing that you maybe act like you're one way, and you can pretend on the outside, but on the inside, it's so determined. And this is our self-determination. It's so determined of who we are, shout so loudly we can't even hear the clothing. We can't even hear the words. We can't even hear the signaling. Right? You know, it's what really is happening. That's on the inside, that really takes place. That we can all go inside and go, okay, wait a minute. I'm in control of this ship. Look at me. I'm the captain now. you know, and to be the master and commander of your ship, you know, what we say all the time is to, what was the word I say? Make it happen, Captain. To be the type of person that can make it happen, to make the conversation go in a different direction, to reframe the thinking so that way it ends on a positive note instead of some other fucking thing that we said to ourselves and promised it would never be that way. That's our opportunity. That's our opportunity to live. That's our opportunity to change. And that's also our opportunity to overcome. And that's why I'm having this conversation, is because a lot of us, we have to overcome a lot of shit. We got to overcome the instabilities. We got to overcome the negativities. We got to overcome the imbalances that all of us participate in. It's a part of the human brain. But to an educated person, somebody that really knows what's going on in psychology, good morning, and really make it a positivity, then you have an opportunity to be where you want to be in your brain, be where you want to be in your life, and not be distracted by all the other addictions and the progressions and the problems. You are going to be on some I want to be centered, I want to be balanced, I want to be understood, and not just by outside people, but understanding ourselves. This is the examined life. And to know yourself, to know why you respond the way that you do, or why you're feeling certain ways, or why your concentration isn't on precision. This is the conversation that we're having. This is the conversation I'm having this morning for this morning motivation, is to reshape my brain. I didn't want it to drive me insane. I didn't want it to drive me to addictions and drive me to depression, because it was. And to be able to say, okay, hey, look for the light. Look for something that can get me out of the darkness, make it all right, make you feel better on the inside. Then you're having a real conversation, not just verbal vomit, not just dialogue with the screen, not just signaling, but an actual deep conversation that I realized, me personally, not to people out there, just me personally, that I was like, hey, if I do these certain things, like, my fresh air, my waters in the morning, fresh light on my eyes, instead of a screen, then I feel better. I get an uptick in my brain. Things don't go insane. They don't go to the dark side and start making me go back to my cyclical behavior and then go blame the world or blame my parents or blame my circumstance. But to say, okay, hold on a second. This amount of energy that I'm giving this signaling, this depression, and reinforcing it, can be transmuted or transformed into building a brand, into world travel, into positive energy. And this is why it's so important to be able to be like, okay, I am powerful, and to harness my chi and to make me be a better human being. Then I feel better, then I can be nicer to other people, then I can be worldly, then I can be loved. I am wealthy, I am rich. These kind of positive mantras that we can all reinforce. But if you to believe it on the inside, the strength of belief, that mustard seed that grows through mountains and splits them in half, this is the power that I want you to have. This is that empowerment, that strength, that you can be exactly what you want to be. You can be confident. You can be stronger. You can be a different type of person than the one you're living in your head. So this is the dread that we have, the eternal dread. Go ahead. The esoteric, if you will, the what else do I want to call it? The gray, that little zone between everybody's ears, where we can either keep it here, or we can keep it in here, or we can keep it even deeper in there. So mind, body, and soul. Good morning. It's up to you, Lao Tao Kun, to be able to transform you from a cocoon into a beautiful butterfly that can appreciate life and enjoy the passing of time, because that's what life is, instead of what I don't have and what's not working for me, or what I want other people to believe. We can believe it ourselves. And that's this morning's motivation. If you got anything out of this, you already know. Like, share, subscribe below. And as always, peace and love. And Chi Gathon, that means goodbye, but not forever and finish. But I will see you on the other side. As soon as you like, share, and subscribe. But the other side of your fear, the other side of your excuses, and the other side of the world, because that's where I'll be. Keep it up. I've seen this girl jogging before. Keep it up. Keep giving yourself the chances that you deserve. Keep giving yourself an exit out of this world, and not live in a place that's not so cool for you, but it's really cool for your soul. And that's what I wanted people to feel, hear, and internalize this morning. So that's my morning's motivation. You got anything out of this? You already know. I'll see you on the other side. Peace.